guys, welcome you all to my channel. Is this your first time of coming to my channel? Thanks a lot. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. So in today's tutorial we are going to making a simple video on how to cut and sew wrap ruffle skirts, and this is actually very easy to achieve, especially if you are looking out for styles to add to your ready to wear. I recommend this style, and this is because it fits across so many sizes. So what are the basic measurements required in order for you to achieve your wrap ruffle skirt? Waist measurements, hip and your skirt length. Don't forget to join us on Facebook, T Designs, on Instagram, TG Designs, and also visit our website. You guys, we have amazing fashion illustration on our website. All the details are going to be in the description box below. So let's go ahead now and calculate our basic measurements. Our waist is 30 divided by 4 plus 2, we have 9.5 inches. Our hip is 38 divided by 4 plus 2, we have 11.5 inches. Now you are going to be adding inches to your hip measurement, and this is because our hip measurement happens to be the largest part of our lower bodies. However, if your waist happens to be the largest part, then you go ahead and add inches to your waist measurement. But for me, my hip measurement is bigger than my waist, and that is why I'm adding inches to my hip measurement. However, if your waist is bigger than your hip, then you go ahead and add your inches to your waist measurement. So basically, you are to add from 7 inches to 9 inches to your hip measurement, and the essence of adding these inches to your hip measurement is to make it easy, and also to give room for more allowance to wrap your skirt. Right, so you have more allowance to wrap your skirt, and the more allowance you have to wrap your skirt, the more your skirt fits so well and it doesn't like show off so many parts of your body. So we have 7 inches to 9 inches, so I'm basically going to be adding 8 inches to mine. However, you can add 9 inches or 7 inches to yours. It totally depends on what you want to achieve at the end of the day. So I have 11.5 plus 8 inches, I'm going to have 19.5 inches. Now my skirt length is 24 inches. Now our wrap ruffle skirt is going to have a band, right, and the wideness of your band totally depends on how many inches you will deduct from your skirt length. So if you want your band to be 2 inches wide, then you go ahead and deduct 2 inches from your skirt length. And if you want your band to be 3 inches wide, then you go ahead and deduct 3 inches from your skirt length. So the wideness of your band totally determines or depends on the number of inches you will deduct for your skirt length. So for me now, I'm going to make use of 2 inches for my band, and I will deduct 2 inches from my skirt length. For minus 2 inches, I have 22 inches. Now another thing also, because what we want to achieve is wrap ruffle skirts, now you are also going to deduct the length of your ruffle from your skirt, and the length of your ruffle totally depends on how long you want your ruffle to be. So you can decide that you want to have 3 inches for your ruffle, just have a very tiny ruffle. You can decide you want to have 4 inches, 5 inches. I think 5 inches is actually fine, like max of 5 inches. Once you have 6 inches, 7 inches, you won't have so much like beauty, okay? So you can just add about 2 inches to 5 inches, somewhere around that. But 6 inches, 7 inches and 8 inches might be too much. For me, I feel like it's too much for a ruffle on a skirt. So basically you just have like 2 inches. If you want to have like a tiny ruffle, 3, 4, 5 inches. It totally depends on what you want to achieve. So for me now, I'm going to stick to 3 inches. So by the time I add my allowance to it, I'll be having about 4 inches for my ruffle. So because I want my ruffle now to be 3 inches, I will go ahead and deduct my ruffle length from my skirt length. Deduct your ruffle length from your skirt length. So my ruffle length is 3 inches. I'll go ahead now and deduct 3 inches from 22 inches. I'm going to have 19 inches. We have 19 inches. We are also going to add our sewing allowance to it. Now, why are we adding our sewing allowance? Because you also need it to attach to your band, and also you also need some allowance to attach to your ruffle. So I'll go ahead now and just add about 1 inches for my sewing allowance, so I will attach half inch to my band and also half inch to my ruffle. So I'll go ahead now and add 1 inch. So plus 1 inch, now I have 20 inches. So plus 1 inch, now we are going to have 20 inches. So our band, now we add 2 inches. We deducted 2 inches for our band. Now we are going to go ahead and add our sewing allowance also to our band. So plus 1 inch, we are going to have 3 inches for the band. So the band, we are going to have 3 inches. Now for our ruffle, now we deducted 3 inches for the ruffle. We are going to go ahead now and add 2 inches to our ruffle. 2 inches to our ruffle to serve as our allowance. Now the reason why we are adding 2 inches to the ruffle, is because the ruffle, we are going to have our sewing allowance on the ruffle, and then you also need about half an inch to attach your ruffle to your main skirt. So basically 2 inches. Now I'm going to have 5 inches for the length of my ruffle. For my band, I'm going to have 3 inches, and for my basic skirt, I'm going to have 20 inches. So these are basically the basic measurements required in order for you to achieve this. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. Let me know if you have any question in the course of this tutorial. Please feel free to drop your questions in the comment section, or any topic you want us to make a video on. And don't forget to join us for trainings. Trainings are available, both online training and physical training, and I'm going to put down the details in the description box below. But before then, now what are the kind of materials? So for this kind of style, basically you can use any kind of material to achieve this style. Okay, for your wrap ruffle skirts, you can use your African prints, you can use your silk, you can use your cotton, you can use your chiffon. You can basically use like any type of material to achieve your wrap ruffle skirt. So now let's move to the cutting part of this tutorial. So I'm going to make use of this African print in order for us to achieve our wrap ruffle dress. Now we've gone ahead now to fold our fabric into 2. The next thing we want to do now, this is our basic skirt. Okay, the next thing we want to do now is to mark out where we are going to have our shape, and this is basically because your wrap skirt is not straight this way, because you want to add some style to it and make it look more beautiful. So you go ahead now and mark up some inches. However, note that the amount of inches you mark will totally depend on how opened it will be at the side. So if you want it to be really open, you can go up with about 9 inches. But if you don't want it to be too exposed, you can come down with about 7 inches or 6 inches. It totally depends on what you want to achieve at the end of the day. So for me now, I'm going to make use of 8 inches. I'm going to make use of 8 inches. So this is where I have my 8 inches now. So I'm basically going to connect what I have at my skirt length, at this other part of my skirt length, up to where you have your 8 inches. So you basically go ahead and curve it. Make sure that what you have is like a curve, right? Just like a curve or something, a curve. So we've gone ahead now to just connect this, and the next thing we are basically going to do now is to go ahead and cut this out. Don't forget that you can increase yours or you can reduce it. It depends on what you want. So I'll go ahead now and cut this out, and let's see the shape. Now for the length, of this is our pencil skirt, right? The upper part of our pencil skirt, where we have about 17 inches. And after cutting it out, this is what you have. So you can see your shape, and this is where it gets up to where we marked our 9 inches. 8 inches rather, and this is basically what we have. So the next thing we are going to do now is to go ahead now and cut out our band, and we have 3 inches for the band, and here I went ahead to cut out about 6 inches, and this is because for our band is going to be folded this way. So by the time you fold it into 2 this way, you are going to have 3 inches, and by the time you stitch your 1 inch, you are basically going to have our 2 inches back. But on a single fold this way, we have about 6 inches. Now for the length of your For the length of your band, note that you are basically using this band to tie your wrap. So your band should be longer than your hip measurements, right? Your band should be longer because you're basically going to tie it. So our hip measurement is 40 inches. I went ahead and I added about 20 inches extra. So I have 60 inches length for my band because I added about 20 inches because we are going to tie this, right? So you have enough fabric for the band to tie. However, you can go ahead and increase yours if you want to have your rope or your belt being too long, right? So I went ahead to add about 20 inches to my hip measurement. So I have 60 inches on a straight fold, right? So on a double fold this way, folded into two this way, I have 30 inches. But the total length of our band now is 60 inches and the wideness is 3 inches. Note that for the longness or the length of your band, you can increase it, but one thing you should take note of is that it is more than your hip measurement because you are going to tie it. So you can go ahead and add about 20 inches to it, 13, 10 inches. It just depends on what you want, and the more fabric you have as your band, that is what is going to serve as your belt in order for you to tie it at the back. Now for the ruffle, for the wideness of our ruffle, we have 5 inches. That is for the wideness this way, we have 5 inches. Right, we have 5 inches. Now for the length, the amount of fabric required for your ruffle, you simply go ahead and multiply your hip measurement by 2.5 or you multiply your hip measurement by 3. However, if you want your ruffle to be very full, you go ahead and multiply your hip measurement by 3 if you want to have like a very full effect for your ruffle. But if you are working with limited amounts of fabric, you can go ahead and multiply your hip by 2.5. So my hip now is 40 inches. 40 multiplied by 3, I have 120 inches. So for the length now of my ruffle, now I have 120 inches, right? I have 120 inches. So it's fine also if it comes in pieces this way because it's ruffle. So by the time you join the pieces together, you still have like a very long fabric that you're going to pleat on it, right? So now I have about 120 inches for the length, and for the wideness now I have about 5 inches. So this is basically what we have for our ruffle, and then we'll go ahead now and couple this up. If you have any question, please feel free to drop your questions in the comment section or any topic you want us to make a video on. I want to like give this part a shape, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and like make here a round shape up to my waist, right? I think like giving it this curved shape from the beginning all the way down, you're going to have like a very beautiful effect. So just go ahead now and curve it all the way down. But however, this just enables you to know like where you will take the length of it. So the next thing we want to do now is to go ahead and attach our ruffle to our skirt, which is the lower part of our skirt. So open your skirt up this way. Open your skirt up, and this is the fabric for our ruffle. So you're basically going to start pleating from this part. You are pleating from this upper part, and in order for you to pleat this, we have our gathers foot. I have a tutorial on that. I'm going to go ahead and link it in the description box if you want to order for your ruffle foot. It makes your pleating to be very easy. I'll go ahead and link it so you can just watch that after this, and you can also place your order. So now you just go ahead basically now and pleat your ruffle all the way on your skirt, starting from this upper part. You can see where we started from. You go ahead and pleat it all the way. So by the time you pleat it, this is what you have. Let me zoom it in. By the time you pleat it, this is what you have. So you can see that it's gathered. So you can decide that you want to have like tiny pleats, right, where you just pleat it like very little, and you can decide that you want to have like your big pleats. It depends on what you want to achieve. Now you will discover that the reason why when we're taking our measurements, we make sure that our ruffle is short is because look at how beautiful it is. Like I've not pleated this already, and look at how cute your skirt is. So this ruffle should be short just to make it like very cute. So this is basically what it looks like. But let me go ahead now and pleat this. So you are basically pleating it from this edge all the way down to this other edge. So you're going to start from this edge. Now you pleat it all the way to this edge at this part. So once I'm done now, so guys, now we've gone ahead now to attach our ruffle to our basic skirt, and basically you just discovered that we went ahead to pleat it all the way, and you can see how beautiful it is already. Like, it's so cute, guys, and this style is actually very simple. So you can see what it looks like even without having your band. You can see the shape, and we just went ahead to basically pleat it, and because we gave it like this round curve, it just adds like more beauty to your wrap ruffle skirt. So the next thing you are going to do now, basically after pleating your ruffle, is to go ahead and attach your band. We have our band now. This is our band. We are basically going to set aside inches at this part. So when you want to attach your band, you basically set inches at this part. Okay, so one part will be shorter because this will serve as belts in which you are going to use to tie your wrap. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying, but feel free to drop your questions in the comment section or any topic you want us to make a video on. So this is our band now. We'll go ahead now and set about 12 inches aside this way to serve as our belt, and then we'll go ahead and just place our band this way, and we'll stitch it. After stitching it all the way down, so by the time you flip it through this way, this is basically what it's going to look like. So I'll go ahead now and place my band this way, and then I will stitch it, and after that I will show you guys how to rock your band. So guys, this is basically what our wrap ruffle skirt looks like. Now, one thing I really love about this is the fact that at the side where you have your curve, your ruffle kind of like overlay on each other, and it's so cute, guys. Now another thing is that we've gone ahead also to attach our band, which are just going to basically tie across your waist. And I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did. Please give this video a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. Let me know if you have any question in the comment section or any topic you want us to make a video on. Now, thanks so much for watching, and then I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.